welcome to Corey's Corner. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day so far. I want to jump right into today's topic. I don't have a title for it right now, so once this wraps up, hopefully I'll come up with something that is a little bit more clear than what I'm about to say right now as far as titles are concerned. So this really is a video revisiting a previous video. And so previously, a few months ago, I had put up a video called Daddy Issues. And first off, I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to view that video. It was 45 minutes long. I know that you could have done anything else but watch my video, yet you did. And I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to express myself in a way that I hope brought some clarity to some of you who had seen that video. Now, if you never saw the video, don't worry about it because it's not there anymore. I've removed it for two reasons. Number one, I wanted to kind of revisit this conversation and bring some clarity to that conversation. Number two, I want to kind of condense it a little bit more simply because 45 minutes is a long time, not only for me talking, but for you, the viewer, listening. And I just want to compress time a little bit. So what I did is I went over the video. I highlighted maybe about 4 topics that I wanted to bring some clarity to, because I know I did really go on tangents a lot in that video. And I just want to kind of reel it in and make sure that we understand each other when we speak on the topic of daddy issues. So I'm not going to rename this Daddy Issues 2.0 or Daddy Issues Reloaded. We'll find a better title for that. I apologize if you hear dogs barking in the background. I live in an apartment building and my floor happens to have like 3 tenants with dogs. So bear with me as I go along with this. So I do have some notes here that I want to make sure I stay on track and don't go off the rail too much. So let's just jump in and talk about what daddy issues means. This is a label that I don't know where it started, who coined this phrase, so I ain't gonna blame them, but I really want to make sure that we understand what daddy issues means, because when I hear people use it, a lot of times they are referencing women who have absentee fathers. Now, that may not necessarily be true, though it may include these women. It doesn't mean it's mutually exclusive to these women. I am one who has had daddy issues, from which I've pretty much healed from, because, you know, at the end of the day, our issues, when we keep learning more and more about why we do the things that we do, we are able to rise above them. Now, it doesn't mean that these things completely go away. It just means that we've got some tools in our tool belt that will help us manage certain situations when they arise. And so to have this idea that it only happens to women who don't have fathers in the home, not true. Not true at all. And I'm a living testament of that. So any woman that's gone through any type of neglect of some form, and usually it's emotional neglect or emotional unavailability, will go through these types of things. The thing that I want to address where the label of daddy issues comes into play is the whole mechanism behind bringing that up. I find that a lot of times when people reference this label of, oh, you've got daddy issues, I always feel like that's being used as a weapon to either be dismissive or to create a reason for said person to exit that relationship or exit communication from that particular woman. And we got to be careful with that, because at the end of the day, you feel like you're doing yourself a favor or you're doing them a favor, but you're really not. The whole point of going through this human experience is for us to connect with each other and help each other. Now, are you going to be able to connect with everyone? No. Are you going to be able to help everyone? No. Sometimes that help requires a professional. But at the same time, just as a human being who deserves to be seen and heard and respected, to be dismissive of what a woman is going through, or to find it, or to use it rather as a reason for you to push yourself away from someone instead of expressing some type of empathy or compassion, ain't really cute. Just saying, because what you do actually is you further that narrative for that woman. And so at the end of the day, I said we're not responsible for the particular situation at hand, but we are responsible as human beings, as a group of human beings, to show each other some sense of compassion and empathy towards each other for some of the issues that we may have. Because at the end of the day, we all have issues, right? So her issues may not be your issues, but you've got issues. At the end of the day is what I'm saying. So I hope I'm clear on that part, because the labeling for me, I feel, is really counterproductive into what a group of people are supposed to be like, or what your expectations are of what a woman is supposed to be like. And so if we continue to be very dismissive to the plights that certain women go through, the further we create that divide. I hope that makes sense in what I'm saying there. The next thing I want to address specifically to the women now, because that first part was for everyone. But this part here, I'm going to talk about patterns, and I want to address the women specifically. But don't dismiss the fact that this too does involve men as well. So it involves all of us, but because of the sake of me revisiting daddy issues, ladies, listen up. So one of the things, since we've pretty much defined what daddy issues relates to, is patterns and habits. So when we experience emotional neglect or unavailability, naturally what we're going to do is we're going to go out into the world and we're going to look for it from whomever, wherever, however. And the however can be very dangerous at times. So I really need all of you ladies to be mindful of how you go about getting it, because there are predators out here. Real talk. There are predators out here who will not think twice about misusing and abusing you and just deepening that wound even more. So, you could have a surface wound, and then you got someone else that can come in and cut a little deeper, and then another person come in and cut a little deeper, to the point where you're hemorrhaging. I want you guys to avoid all of this. So in avoiding all of this, we've got to look at the patterns and habits that we have, in reference to how we go about seeking this love that we didn't get. And so one of the things is a comfort zone. So anything that is familiar is only good unless it's toxic. And so because neglect is not a positive thing, we find ourselves attaching, not even like, aligning. We're attaching ourselves to men who display the same unavailability. And what's crazy is, because that's the norm for those who've gone through that type of, emotional neglect or unavailability, because that's the norm and we're used to that, our spirit lets us know that that ain't the right thing to be feeling, right? So we kind of have this internal battle back and forth all the time with every single man that we get involved with, that, okay, well, this is familiar and I'm gravitating towards that because that's what my patterns and habits dictate. However, my spirit is telling me, no, this is not a good thing. This is not love. And so we tend to ask ourselves, oh my God, I'm in this again. I'm in this again. Well, yes, you're in this again because of your habits and patterns. So if you want something different outside of what you are used to, then you're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to fight the familiar. You're going to have to go out into new territory and experience new things, right? And even though it is not comfortable, it is something different, which gives you the opportunity to experience something and then at the same time expand your mind, expand your experience to where you're like, oh man, I realized that what I was doing before wasn't even healthy. And maybe this new thing might not be healthy either, right? So understand me and follow me where I'm going, but it's not that. So you're clear on this ain't it. This may be it, or this may not be it. But continue to expand, continue to learn, continue to open yourself up to new things where you can realize what works and what doesn't. And I think that's really important because they say nothing grows in the comfort zone. Love is not going to come for you in the comfort zone if all you've been experiencing in the comfort zone is toxicity. Does that make sense? So, ladies, this one is really tough because, again, we're talking about unlearning, unpacking, and undoing things that we've done for maybe 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You get what I'm saying? So this stuff is not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen. And as long as you have the willingness, the openness, and the courage to face yourself, face the things that you've gone through, face the possibility of having to forgive even though it doesn't feel comfortable. Just having those things in front of you and exploring those possibilities will go a long way into you healing and into you moving into something different, positive, uplifting, and valuable, not just for the person that you may attract, but for you. And this journey is about you and how that will impact your life moving forward. So let's examine those patterns, those habits, and making sure that what good habits we have, we keep, we retain, we foster, we expand them, we grow them. And those that we don't have no use for, or they have no use for us, we shed, we let go, and we move on. Is that good? I hope so. Okay, and speaking of those patterns and habits, one of the things that I know for our community that we are now growing in, and I'm so happy that we are making this transition and that more people like myself are speaking about this freely and openly and unapologetically, is therapy. Some form of therapy or counseling. This is an important tool in order for you to mature and move forward, and more importantly, heal. Because like I just said, we need to address some of the things that have hurt us, where they come from, why it happened, and how can we move forward, and what tools can we use to move forward. So I don't want anybody to really dismiss the idea of we need to put the work in order to see something change, right? So it is about stepping outside the comfort zone. Once again, it is about facing ourselves in the mirror and saying, you know what? I'm sorry this happened to you. Because where forgiveness comes in is it's not about the person who has hurt us, but more about us carrying that hurt. And so what we can do to really change the narrative, if you will, or just start the process of healing, is to look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what? This wasn't your fault. This shouldn't have happened to you, but it did happen to you. And I forgive the fact that you keep carrying this with you. You keep using this as a crutch, or you keep going back to the places and experiences that foster and nurture that hurt. I'm sorry that I've done that to you. And, then that second part of forgiveness is to say, you know what? Maybe this person didn't know that this is what they were doing because maybe this was done to them. And I forgive them for that experience and them putting that on me. But now that has passed. I can't go back and change anything, but I can definitely change how I move forward. And so with that, that is where forgiveness comes in. Now, we don't necessarily forget because we want to make sure that we hold on to the lessons within that experience, within that journey. But we do want to let go the emotional attachment to those things. Because as long as we're emotionally attached to it, it's very hard to move forward. And if we do move forward, we move forward right back into that abyss of negativity. I don't want that for you. I don't even want that for myself. And so with that, we've got to learn how to forgive. So forgiveness really isn't about just that person and saying, oh, well, I forgive them, they get away with it. No, it's about letting go that emotional attachment to that particular experience or to that person. And then lastly, this is something that may come across a little bit harsh. And I pray that you guys don't take it this way. However, it is important for most people to understand if they haven't understood it yet. And that is, no one's coming to save you. So I know we love Hollywood and TV and movies and shows, that kind of idealize the knight in shining armor and, this person coming to rescue you from all the ills of the world. But I'm here to tell you right now, that is television. Television, right? So it's not real. It is not real. That's not what real life looks like. And so this is a reminder to let you know that no one is coming to save you. And you are not the product of your environment. So a lot of people will say, oh, well, it's not surprising that so-and-so acts this way because this, that, and the third happened to that person. Or, oh, well, it's not surprising that this person got arrested. I mean, they grew up in the hood. No, I don't accept that. The reason why I don't accept that is because I have a narcissistic parent that raised me, and I'm not a narcissist. I have no desire to be a narcissist. And so therefore, because I have a narcissistic parent, doesn't mean that now I am going to either be like them or that I should accept or believe that that's all that's for me. In other words, every relationship or the next relationship that I get into, whether it be friends or a romantic partner, that I'm going to be aligned to a narcissist. No. No, I did one of the most important things here on this list, which was therapy and counseling and, moving on from all of that to know that I deserve love. I deserve to be seen and heard, and I deserve to be protected and embraced. And it doesn't have to be by a narcissist. So no, I'm not a product of my environment. Number two, I grew up in the hood too. I'm not a product of my environment. I've never been arrested. I've never been on drugs. I've never done anything that would put me in a precarious situation. So at the end of the day, all of these excuses that people like to use in order to put someone in a box, that is not a reality for me. And it's not a reality for a lot of people who've probably grown up in the hood, who've probably had a narcissistic parent or a neglectful parent or an abusive parent, period. So please don't believe what society thinks you should be. The only person that can decide who you should be is God and God alone. And you play a role in that. You play an active role in that. So you can decide whether you want to do and experience better, or use all the things that have happened to you and in the environments that you've been in as a reason to continue bad behavior. It really is up to you. So this is why I say no one's coming to save you, and you're not a product of your environment. But if you want to believe the reverse, or the opposite rather, then again, that is up to you. So no more excuses about what has happened to us. No more, oh, well, my daddy this, my daddy that, or oh, well, my mama this, my mama that. Okay, it's happened. I'm not dismissing that. I'm not even, minimizing the value or impact that it's had on you. Not doing that at all either. But I'm saying at the end of the day, you're not responsible for what happened to you, but you are responsible for how you move forward. And that's pretty much it. So let's get to work. Let's do the work, and like I said, it's a process. Let's get to the better part of your journey. Enough with the negativity, enough with the pain. It's not something that you have to carry with you forever and ever. If you carry it with you and you reflect on it in a positive way to say, you know what, despite A, B, and C that has happened to me, my life has been the better for it because I've pushed through, I've done the work, I've done the reflection, I've done the healing, and now I'm walking towards the better part of my life. And so that is pretty much it for this conversation. Like I said, I didn't want to make it too long. I wanted to hit some key points here. I hope that it's brought some clarity for you guys. And really, I'm just encouraging all of you to really take a self-assessment. It's on you. You don't have to share it with anyone. You don't have to feel ashamed about the things that you've gone through. This is for you and your journey and how you want to get on the better side of things. And everybody wants to get on the better side of things, but it requires work. And if you are willing to at least just do one step, trust me, that is 1% better than doing nothing. All right. So you guys take care. Have a great one. I pray that someone got something out of this because I just want to see people win. I want to see people succeed in life. Never mind career, money, and all this nonsense. I want to see you succeed in life. And I know that you can. So with that, I'm signing off. And until next time, peace.